As you know, the Saudis have long invested millions and millions of dollars on their image in Western capitals, certainly in Washington. MBS has been particularly fixated on that. And the kind of crown jewel of his image as a reformer has been this theme that he has liberated women from the ban on driving.
So it's a historic time in Saudi Arabia. Women here finally hitting the road from Riyadh and across the country. Over 120,000 women have already applied to get their licenses.
Women in Saudi Arabia are finally getting behind the wheel. The journey has been long and fraught with challenges.
A group of brave Saudi women protested for 28 years, demanding the right to drive and risking arrest. But they didn't get anywhere until Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman began shaking up this Islamic kingdom with a series of reforms, allowing cinemas.
How real is that, given that activists who are working for that are simultaneously being imprisoned? How much of that is PR? How much of that is a real reform in the broader context of the trends within Saudi Arabia?
I was there in Saudi Arabia in June when women were given the right to drive. And I cannot tell you the weight that so many women sort of bore as they were forced to swallow that bitter irony of having finally had this breakthrough, but having most of their champions at that point in jail. There was an incredible pomp and circumstance throughout the kingdom. Journalists were flown in, toured around, brought to curated events where they were ensured to see women celebrating, women excited, smiling women, women getting behind the wheels of cars. It was incredibly well photo-opped. And I was really, along with so many of the women I interviewed, disheartened and sort of found it hard to believe that there was so much willful ignorance or so much ability to hold such cognitive dissonance. But the Western press went along with it largely. Most stories that ran the day that women first took to the road were glowing, just bubbly accounts of how excited, unanimously, how excited all of the Saudi women were to be driving, with perhaps a footnote or a sentence that added that there are a few women in jail right now and people are calling for their release. And even the women who were willing to speak to me about their activism were incredibly nervous about going on the record. And most of them, if you look at what they were posting on social media at the time, were praising Mohammed bin Salman with every other breath, just as a form of protection. In private, they may have other feelings, but there's this sense that you need to be ostentatiously a fan of the Crown Prince. It's not enough to be neutral, but it's necessary now to perform your loyalty to the royal family and to MBS in particular in order to stay safe. Even many of those women have since gone offline. Their Twitter accounts have gone dark. There's just this incredible chill through not just the activist community, but the Saudi community in general.